Brands on Brands.
Hey, what's up? Have you ever thought about starting a podcast, but you couldn't quite figure out what the podcast should be about? You had trouble coming up with that idea? Well, today we are talking about how to come up with podcasting ideas, especially for those coaches and consultants out there. Stick around, check it out.
In a world where content is king and your reputation is your brand, how do you build a brand that matters? Welcome to Brands on Brands, a home for those that think different and push their boundaries. This is where branding that matters lives. Now, here is your host, Brandon Birkmeyer.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Brands on Brands. I'm Brandon Birkmeyer, your personal branding coach, and I believe that building a brand that matters is the only way for you to thrive tomorrow. Welcome to season 4, episode 150 of the show. I'm excited. It's been a long journey. And this season, what you guys can expect is a lot of diving into the business of personal branding with some expert guests. We've signed up already to come onto the show, the Jasmine Star, who has built an amazing brand on Instagram, Jasmine Star, as well as Sean Cannell, Kate Erickson, Owen Video, Ann Hanley, and many, many more. So hopefully you guys are excited about those types of guests. And also I'll be talking to you specifically about podcasting and how to leverage using your voice to create your personal brand, all the tips and tricks along the way. Lots of content about that. And today is no different. Today, we're talking about podcasting ideas for coaches and consultants. So how to come up with what your show is going to be about. And one thing before any of you keep on listening, what I want you to know is that if you wanted to refer back to this show or any of the specific content in blog form, we put that every week on the website. You can catch this one at brandsonbrands.com/150 for the full blog. Also, would you like to know how to convert 1 hour into 1 month of content? A lot of people have asked me questions about repurposing. How do I turn my 1 hour podcast into social media posts, into social media videos and blogs, full epic blog posts, and into YouTube videos? How do I do all that? Well, it's through the power of repurposing and a system I've developed. And I have shared some of those ideas with you guys. If you want it, for all those podcasters and content creators out there, go ahead. I've created that step-by-step guide just for you, all about repurposing content. You can download it right now at my free resources page on brandsonbrands.com/resources. That's brandsonbrands.com/resources. It's all free. It's all there for you to download. And as a bonus, you will join my email list, and each week you'll get updates on what's coming out. And you might be the first to be able to access my new online course coming out in 2021. So with that being said, just want to get going with the show here. So let's get started.
Brands on Brands.
All right. Podcasting ideas for coaches and consultants. I do want to start by setting the stage here. So personal branding for me is the number one way that anyone can build a reputation in your industry. And podcasting is one of the easiest ways, bar none, to build your personal brand. You just need the right podcasting idea. What is your podcast going to be about? Have you thought about that? Has it vexed you? Has it been something you've sat up and you've come up with multiple ideas but never pulled the trigger? Well, don't waste time overthinking it and never getting started. Listen to the show today, pick one of the ideas and get going. And if these ideas aren't the ones specifically for you, or if you're still not sure, reach out to me. You can email me, brandon@brandsonbrands.com, and we can go through it together, or just set up a coaching call, brandsonbrands.com/coach. And that's free. And we can walk through this list together and see what is right for you. You're not alone. You don't have to do this by yourself. So here are some of these ideas. We'll get right into it. So first off, one of the things that's easiest for most of us to talk about without stuttering and having trouble producing content is to talk about something we know a lot about, right? So my first suggestion to you is to build something that is based on your favorite topic of conversation, the thing that you, when asked a question about, could talk about at length, on and on and on and on. So that might be something that is just a passion for you that you've spent a lot of time reading and researching and being involved with in this particular industry or niche. or it might be something that you had spent time on for work, or just that's something that you do that's part of your lifestyle. Like maybe you're a parent and you want to start something about parenting, or maybe you've had a very unique experience and you want to talk about whatever that might be. So tap into those topics that you literally could talk about based on your personal experience, on and on and on. Because what's going to take your podcast to the next level is a level of experience with the content that you don't hit walls when producing it, that you can keep on talking and talking about it without ever needing to learn something brand new from, top to bottom. And that could become a hiatus for you. So let's start there. Pick your favorite topics. Second idea, teach from experience. Now, this is related, but really it's about what is something that you are really good at that you could teach someone else because you've learned, whether it be you've learned through something succeeding or you've learned through something failing. And anything you've done, you might be 1 year or more ahead of someone that would love to have learned from what you did that, would help them skip that learning curve. And if you teach from experience, you're always going to have relevant stories to pull from or relevant content that you can give someone else the tips and tricks along the way. For me, I got to pull from my marketing experience. I had 18 years at ad agencies learning all about how to build a brand, how to position those brands, how to come up with your target audiences and figure out how to market those brands to those audiences and what media channels to use. I had all that experience that I poured into a marketing and branding podcast. And that content has helped me define who I am, helped me continue to pivot and figure out where my voice is, to where now I apply all of that to this personal branding space instead of business brands and service brands and product brands. It's all about personal branding now for me. But if I didn't start with something that I was already, number one, experiencing, but also if you asked me what it was that I was curious about, what is the thing I nerded out about and studied a lot, and what was I reading in my spare time, it was always about marketing. And so I got to merge something that was my favorite topic and my experience together. So a few of these things on this list of 10, you can pick from and do multiple of them. But that's something to look at is what is your experience and what can you help someone learn based on what you've already experienced. The third one is to document a specific journey that you are on. So maybe you are on your way to becoming something else in your life and you want to share with people what that's like. Maybe you've bought a new home and you're interested and passionate about renovation and the trials and tribulations of that. And you want to take someone through how you went and bought a new home and you rebuilt it and you knocked some walls down and you replaced the bathrooms and there are some design elements there and there's managing contractors and all those things that you're about to go through. You want to share that journey with someone and tell them the things you've run into. And those people that are in the same place will relate to that. Maybe you can build something like that, document that journey. And if you want to get more specific, you can talk about, okay, if you use that same example, not just, building a new home or renovating a new home, but doing it as a parent. And how do you adjust and balance all that with, the time and space needed to still be a good parent and involve your family and live through renovation with kids around and all those little things. The more you can add nuance to it to make it more specific, the more people that are having that exact same experience are going to relate to you. So think about a specific journey in your life that you're in the middle of or you're about to start and think, is this something that I'm going to learn from and that other people can learn from, that I can share that as well? And does this align with something that I do want to end up teaching? Because at the end of the day, I say that this show is for coaches and consultants because I want you to be able to teach from this and build a business behind it. Sure, it's great to have passion content that you can share because you're interested, but also if you can build a business behind that, then this is a sustainable lifestyle. Podcasting is a sustainable business for you. So think about that. Does this tie to something I actually want to teach? And it's also connects to a journey that I'm on. So that's the first three. Number 4, a question and answer session. If you're already in the process of helping people and coaching them on something, and maybe you're just getting started even, and you are, taking discovery calls, asking people what they're struggling with and finding ways from your experience to answer some of their questions as you develop what your coaching methodology might be. And as you develop what your coaching program might be, if you're recording all those calls with their permission, of course, you have content there that you can be using and you can take them out of it. You can just ask the question without them there in the video and then answer it, but pull from your actual conversations. And it not only demonstrates that you have expertise, but it helps you find your voice through really coaching instead of, coaching a real person instead of just coaching in your mind and talking out loud what your concepts are. So a question and answer session might be right for you. The fifth idea in terms of building a podcast for someone who's looking to be a coach or consultant would be to interview experts in your field. I'll tell you the number one thing I changed, because I launched a podcast, I did 30 episodes, and then I pulled it all down because I hired a coach. And I learned that there's an advantage when you can bring in experts and it's just you talking and pontificating every week. When you get to bring in experts in your field, it, number one, brings knowledge that, other people have acquired over time to your show, because everyone learns different things at different times. And maybe there are experts that have specifically focused in on one small area of your industry that you can have them bring to the table. And it helps you in two ways. One, it's brand new content from another person's perspective. And two, as you two are sharing those ideas and amazing content's being created for your audience, you're also developing a relationship with those experts, which gives you more social status, more proof that this is a show that has authority, but also it builds a relationship with that person that you may be able to tap into in the future in terms of leveraging their audience, going on their show, or being introduced to someone that they know that could be another guest for your show. Or maybe they're speaking on stages and they're introducing you to the people that are running the conferences to get you on stages. Whatever the thing is, there is so much untapped potential if you're not leveraging an expert coming on your show. So I believe in both solo shows and interview shows being combined so that you leverage all the benefits of both. So interview, number one, an expert in your field. And we're going to go into the other types of people you can interview. But number one is an expert, someone who has a very specific knowledge of how to do something, that benefit of knowing how to do that is immediately going to help your audience. The second piece is going to be to interview an influencer. This is number 6. Interview an influencer or influencers in your field. Now, what's the difference between an expert and an influencer? An expert can be someone that has zero following, but literally just knows how to do something. And they know how to do it well. Whereas an influencer may also know how to do something well, but has built up a following over time. Maybe they've written a book in your field and they are recognized as an authority. Maybe they have built some other type of show or podcast or YouTube channel or an Instagram following. In other words, they have done the work to get out there and engage an audience and build that audience based on something that they are talking about themselves. Now, you learning from them and bringing them onto your show brings that influence with them to your show. And, sometimes between the two, you can have a balance of what type of guest you have on your show. An expert's going to help your audience learn something, but an influencer is going to help you build some of the clout you need and maybe transfer some audience over. So especially when you're getting started, if you have zero audience and you interview an expert who's not built an audience yet, you have, 0 plus 0 equals 0. That's still no people listening to your show that you haven't gone out and found yet. So sometimes bringing an influencer in can help you grow faster if that's what you're looking for. So, and at the end of the day, it still makes good content. That's number 6. Number 7, in terms of podcasting ideas for coaches and consultants. Number 7, interview entrepreneurs in your field. So we talked about experts, we talked about influencers. Entrepreneurs in your field are going to be people that have started businesses, could be any type of business, but in the process of building that business, they've learned something that applies to your niche. Now, what's interesting about that is they're someone who's put into practice these things that everyone else is talking about. So maybe they built a fitness wear company, a clothing company, and I have a marketing podcast. If I brought them on, even though their expertise is in building a fitness business, they still did marketing to grow that business. And I can talk about the specifics. Well, how did you do that for your fitness clothing line specifically? What steps did you take? Did you build a website? Did you run Facebook ads? Did you grow a social media organic presence? Did you look into search engine optimization? Did you use partnerships and endorsements of celebrities? Like, what are all the things you did? They're going to be able to tell me exactly step by step what they did and when they did it, in what order, what they prioritized to get them to where they are. And that specific industry knowledge is really interesting and makes for an interesting story. So that's another type of interview you can do. Another type of show, another idea for you coaches and consultants out there, is to look at your industry, like pick the niche, the category that you're in, and say, okay, within my industry, am I interested in talking about what's new and notable that's things that are happening, whether it's trends or industry news and updates, things that are changing in your field, people that are coming up with new ideas? Do you want to be the person that shares what's new to help your audience stay up to date? And the benefits of that is, number one, you stay more up to date. You become someone who's looking forward and finding out what's happening and where things are going. It sets the stage as you becoming a thought leader in your space, but also it helps you become a place for the most current information. And sometimes that's what people are looking for. And if that's what you're interested in, then let's combine the two and go for it. Number 9, the 9th type of show you can start is an industry tools show. This is you getting out there and just talking about what are the actual resources in your business? What are the tools people use? What are the softwares? What are the apps? What are the systems? What are the processes? What are the websites? Who are the vendors? What are the tools in your industry that are going to help your audience? And you can either talk about those, your own personal reviews of certain types of tools. You can do trainings on those tools, or you can actually interview the teams from those tools, whether it's, the CEO, the founder of that company, or someone from their marketing team. You can ask them to do a walkthrough of the tool, or you can just interview them on all the benefits and features of that to make for a more interesting conversation. And guess what? That person's an expert because that's all they do all day is talk about the thing that they've built. And now you come on and instead of you trying to explain something, you have the actual expert that built it from the ground up, describe it to your audience. And as a benefit, that might become a relationship for you that can generate income. That might become a business that is an affiliate of yours that you can refer business to. It could be a partnership that gets you some free access to their tool or some freebies in terms of maybe they'll give you a resource of theirs for free because you've been talking about them on the show. There's partnerships there that could develop over time. And maybe when later on, when you're big enough to have a sponsor, that relationship is there that they might consider it. So an industry tools show is another one. And then the last one on the list is what I would like to call a learn with you show. Sometimes there is something that you're just like, it's similar to the on a journey, except this is all about something that you are wanting to learn and grow in. And it could be all in your mind and educational. It doesn't have to be physical. Whereas the journey could be on building a house. This is going to be, I am learning how to become a real estate investor, something very specific that's educational based. You're using the show as a way to educate yourself. You are interviewing people to ask them the questions you're actually curious about, to learn as much about that topic as possible, and to be the go-to resource for your audience to say, I'm as curious as you are, audience, and here's what we're talking about. What the benefit of that is your innate curiosity is speaking the exact voice of your audience to get out there and get those resources. You're doing the work for them. And because you are your audience, you're in their exact mindset to give them what they're looking for in the show. So anything you want to learn, if you can share that journey, it's awesome because you are now investing in yourself. You are growing your own knowledge while building a following that wants to learn with you. And as that grows, you might be able to turn that into something that you're learning this now, but in a year, you can look backwards to people who hadn't started and come with you on the journey and coach them and teach them these things now looking backwards instead of looking forward. So that might be for a lot of you where to start if you're just at the beginning of this podcasting process is, what am I really curious about that I want to learn? And who do I want to learn from? Who are my heroes? Who are the people that I'd love to have on a show to pick their brains? And because you have a show and you have a platform like this, you actually have the door open to do that. If you just call someone and say, I want to pick your brain, a lot of time you're going to get a no. But if you say, I have a show, now the door might be open to them coming on and being interviewed because you've built a platform. So that's a hugely powerful tool for a lot of people. Those are my top 10. We'll go through them quickly again. Number 1, talk about your favorite topics. Number 2, teach from experience. Number 3, document a specific journey. Number 4, question and answer sessions. Number 5, interview experts in your field. Number 6, interview influencers in your field. Number 7, interview entrepreneurs in your field. Number 8, industry news. Number 9, talk about industry tools. And number 10, learn with your audience. Learn something and turn that into your show. So that's my top 10 list. And before we wrap this up, I do want to add a couple extra little bonus tidbits for you. For any of these shows to be good, there's a couple of questions you want to ask yourself. Number 1 is, why do you care? Why do you personally, as a host, care about this show? What is something that is motivating you to want to create this? Because if you have passion for it and you can explain that and articulate it, you might find out what makes this show unique and what makes this show interesting and different than other people's shows. So number one, ask yourself, why do you care? Number two, who is this show for? You do have to think about your audience, because at the end of the day, if you're not building the show for someone, you might accidentally go off course. So always thinking about who exactly is this show for is going to help you find your niche, because you might say, well, all I want to do is teach marketing. But if you had just found out who were you trying to teach marketing to, as my example, me teaching marketing to entrepreneurs is one type of show. Me teaching marketing to coaches is a different type of show. Me teaching marketing just about Facebook ads to just fitness coaches is a very, very specific kind of show. Each time I add a layer of who it's for, my show becomes more relevant to the people that are in that niche. So just think about that. Who is this for? And then the last piece is, why will they listen? There's a lot of places to consume content. People's time is very limited. So you have to think about, what am I bringing to the table, whether it's my background, my skills, or the guests I'm bringing to the table, and the focus on this particular type of topic, or my own mindset of what it is that this show is for. Why will they listen? What is going to make this show important for them to catch every week? And if you can answer that question, then you will have a consistent theme that you can apply to every show you do, that's going to tie it all together to make it deliver on the promise you make every week, to say, hey, this is why we're here, and this is what we hope to deliver, and we're going to keep doing it every week, and we hope it serves you. And answer those questions, you'll be better served. And then to help broaden this out for 1 second, the easiest thing to do, if you're still a little confused, is start with the category. What I love is I go straight to iTunes or Apple Podcasts, and I look at their podcast categories. Find it in your phone or in your browser, look for podcast categories and see what they've designed as the broad categories. And then if you dip inside of those, you'll see some slightly smaller categories. If you can find one that you think you fit into, that's a good starting point. So within the business category, there's a subcategory called marketing. That's an easy fit for me, right? You might have something else. You might have it within the health and fitness space. Just the fitness category might be the best applicable space for you. Start there and then decide, okay, what is the unique thing about this show that I'm going to create within this particular category that makes it different than the other shows, that makes it only a show that I can do, that other people wouldn't be able to deliver on the way that I can? You know, what is the thing that makes it differentiated from the other shows in the list? Because at the end of the day, if anyone can do it, and if it sounds like every other show, then you're not something that people are going to be compassionate about, because it literally, they can get it anywhere. So you have to find, to get there, you just have to kind of answer that question. What makes this podcast uniquely mine? It can be a what, a how, or a why. What I mean is, the show could be unique because the why behind why you created the show is unique to you. And that passion comes through in how you've designed the show and the questions and the guests. Or instead of a why, it could be a how. You are specifically teaching people a certain way of doing things that is specific to you. Your how-to is very specific to the way you like to accomplish your goals. Or it's a what. This show is for a particular type of person to accomplish things in a particular way. And that what is specific to you. So think about those. And if you can answer that question, you're going to be a little further ahead than a lot of the shows out there that haven't thought about it, that haven't figured out what makes them unique. And if you're still struggling, then just think about, how do I niche down to just one level deeper in terms of a particular topic or audience? So if it's just fitness, say, what is one specific topic within fitness that I can try? Or what is one audience within fitness that I can try? Let me give you an example. If it's fitness in terms of a topic, I can say, okay, fitness around just weightlifting, right? Like that's one random specific topic. Or fitness, if I go down the audience round, fitness just for small business owners, or just for traveling executives, or something like that. You can really get specific. And once you identify that, suddenly the picture of the person you're speaking to becomes very unique. And you can say, I know exactly what that person would want to listen to, and I can design a show around them. So think about that. Those are my main suggestions. Hopefully those ideas have given you some, at least, things to process in terms of how you can build your show. Or if you already have a show like I did, how you could make your show a little more interesting or engaging, or maybe draw some more audience in. You don't have to do what I did, which was completely start over. You could start to add some of these things in from the beginning of where you are right now, and, you know, add some variety to your show so that these ideas that might help your show become more engaging can happen for you. And if you'd like to go through these 10 types of shows together because you're still not there and you're still not sure how to focus, I help people with this all the time. If you want to come up with your podcast idea together, that would be perfect for you specifically, that is ownable for you specifically, let's chat. Go to brandsonbrands.com/coach. It's free. It's easy. We just jump on a call and we chat. We go through this list and I can help you answer some of those questions, and great. That's what I've got for you guys today. If you enjoyed the show and you want to let me know, please take a screen grab and tag me on Instagram at Brandon Birkmeyer. And remember, building your brand is a journey. Take your time with it. Tackle the little items each day and move forward. Keep moving forward. I hope these tactics shared today were helpful to you. Thank you for listening. And as usual, I will catch you all next time.
You've just taken your marketing knowledge to another level with this episode of Brands on Brands. But we have plenty more ways to help you build a brand that matters. Head over to brandsonbrands.com for resources, as well as access to our blogs, videos, and exclusive coaching sessions with your host. Be sure to visit brandsonbrands.com.